Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu salam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Halan wa salim bikum. Innani ote subhanahu wa ta'ala amtanani wa shukri. How you doing today, my brothers and sisters, wherever you may be? And I'm talk about a very sensitive topic, but something that is fluid. Of course, you know what has happened in New Orleans. And I had to weigh in on this because the same formula is always present when we have such a tragedy like this, when allegedly a Muslim has killed unjustly. And in this case like this, it's still fluid. We don't know all who has participated in it and so forth and so on. But I'm going to clear up some points because we have the same things that's happening every time in America when we have these type of tragedies. It's a tragedy. I don't care who does the killing. It's a tragedy regardless of who is being killed. And in this case, we have a person who is allegedly a Muslim. I'm not sure if he's African American. In some ways, he even looked like, Bangladeshi or even Pakistani American who was born inside the United States. I'm not sure. That's irrelevant. But we also know African Americans were killed in this latest terroristic episode. And I have to weigh in on this because I want to make sure we understand some things. Because as you hear me say now, the same formula that's always being used when a Muslim kills, it would come into play. The whole world be disaffected by it. Here in Morocco, everywhere else, this is the vehicle that they'll use to go after me, everyone else, when a Muslim allegedly kills unjustly. And I'll get into this. And I want my brothers and sisters who show up to participate in this. If you have something to say, please put your comments and so forth in the chat, and I will get to you. And my brother here give us greetings and so forth. And we appreciate our dear brother here. He's got a wonderful program, podcast on Africa, and he gives historical view, especially about ancient Kemet, which you know is in English, Egypt. So support our dear brother when you get this opportunity and so forth, especially for those who are beginners. Please support our dear brother here in his endeavor to get the word out about Africa and our history and so forth. We need more brothers like this, and from the United States in particular, who have a love and interest and desire to teach, because he's a professional teacher, also a professor and at the university. So he knows his way. He knows his way very, very well. And I always make that joke about my dear brother, because we that exact opposite. But our dear brother here, he's got that Southern charm and so forth, so on. So he has an easy style of teaching and so forth. And I respect that a lot. So please support our dear brother. And as always, brothers and sisters, please subscribe to my station. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm not going to ask you any money. I'm not going to ask you for anything. Just please support your brother, because the Black people, we have a tendency, we do not support one another. Now, I would never ask you to go support a brother who is profane, or even if you disagree with some of the things. Yes, I wouldn't ask you to support those individuals. But our brothers who got some good platform, you may agree with some of his talks and maybe you don't agree, but you support, because we're lacking in this regard. And we should try to support one another. Please do that. And as always, brothers and sisters, we're African people, irrespective if you're from somewhere else. All people invited to come. I don't care if you're Tubab, European or American, white American. We call it in Fulani language, we call it Tubab. I don't care if you're Asia, whatever. You still have respect, especially if you're Muslim. You should greet. If you Hebrew in particular, you should greet your brothers and sisters, and those, even if they're Hebrew or not, but you still should do it, because Jesus, alayhi salatu salam, did it. He says, Shalom Aleichem. So you must greet your brothers when you come in the chat. I greatly appreciate that. And when you do come to the chat, all questions and thoughts are welcome, but stay on the topic and be kind and polite. Back up your play. You make a comment, you say something, please back up your play. But if you want to come after me because I wear a turban, I'm going to run you. I'm not going to argue with you on this because you're a provocateur. We don't want that here and so forth. So I'm going on someone else's show and say something. And also, my email address, brothers and sisters, for those who are interested, I want to start. I learned this from King Cam here. I want to start like a mailing list myself where, because I have a hard time with YouTube. A lot of times these announcements don't get out. And I've saw that now. And I've had people already told me this talk here, the announcements did not get out. So, I've been running battles. So this is the only way I can get maybe our brothers and sisters who are interested by using this email here. And I have a mailing list so I can get this to you. So that way you can get the latest episodes and you can view it anytime that you at your leisure and so forth and so on. So with that said, again, please, brothers and sisters, greet everybody when you come in. There's no problem. I'm encouraging your talk today because it is a serious issue. What is happening in New Orleans and any place like this is a very tragic situation, but we're going to have the same formula being played out. And that's why I want to talk about that formula, which is wrong and what helps to keep this stuff going. Okay. Oh yeah. I forgot my greetings to you as well. Salamu alaikum rahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Lil ikwani wati fi din. Salamu ala madi teba huda. Lil ikwani wati fi Africa, Europa, America, Asia, Caribbean, well, Kuli Macan. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, let's get started here. What is interesting about this is it's still fluid. We don't have all the answers. So that's why I say allegedly he's Muslim. Allegedly he has prescribed and so forth to a notorious group and so forth and so on. He allegedly killed the individuals. This is what we know. So, but we got to get into this. And I want to make sure we understand, especially for our non-Muslim brothers and sisters, any Muslim or a group of Muslims under the banner Islam then targets the innocent and is criminal and without authority. That authority lies with the Muslim ruler. This is where, brothers and sisters, why I talk about this, because I want this understood. There's going to be talk, and it's always, I've already heard it on CNN, and I've heard it on some others, where they've mentioned the fact, again, about Muslims killing unjustly. And I want to put this out to make sure we understand that, because this, when you kill the Muslim under a alleged war of some sort, we have to understand what authority did this Muslim have in order to do this type of killing. If he didn't have the certain things prescribed by our Prophet and our Sahaba and the three favorite generations, then this and what our famous scholars had to say, then it's not authorized. See, so this is where we'll trump the disbelievers. People who hate us will say, look, here's another Muslim. He kills other non-Muslims unjustly. I'm telling you now, when he does something like that, I'm telling you exactly what he is. This is criminal, because there's no Muslim ruler that gave an authorization for any of us to go inside the United States to kill non-Muslims. There's none. There's no fatwas. If someone issues such a fatwa, we should know who he is and what is his qualification to issue such a fatwa to allow me, you, anyone to go to New Orleans or Los Angeles or San Bernardino, California, or Washington, D.C. and kill innocent Muslims. I mean, innocent non-Muslims and Muslims alike. So I want to make sure we understand this. See, this is for the Muslims and non-Muslims. It's criminal and without authority. We have seen a plethora of cases, such as the New Orleans case, manifest itself in America. Haven't we? How many times we've seen this? But we must ask why. Majority of the Western states don't experience this level of criminality like in America? Why is it that America seems to be more prone to these type of attacks? With all of its security apparatuses, with all its might, military prowess and madness, all its satellites, all its controlling basically the world and its heartbeat. And yet and still, they can't seem to manage to thwart this type of situation. And we have to ask, why is America being targeted when you don't hear much about Spain? You don't hear much. Sometimes hear small little things happen in England, and a few times maybe in France, and maybe in Eastern Europe, but you don't have the peripheral and of these type of killings in those Western states. And we have to ask why. Where is the rightful Muslim Ummah in America? Now, why I say this, brothers and sisters, is because this is part of the problem that we have. These wayward Muslims who kill in this fashion don't have Islamic education primarily and cannot decipher what is right and wrong. Allegedly, this Muslim brother had marital problems, but he should be able to go to a Muslim scholar or student knowledge to help him. But this problem here, where are the rightful Muslim ulama, the scholarly body in America? We cannot speak. This is a problem. Since they shut us down, how can we give the education to our most vulnerable Muslims? Since they shut us down, they stop us from the masjid. They stop us from going traveling. They stop us from having broadcasts. They stop us from trying to get to the Muslims and to teach them so they don't do things like this. So they silence us and call us terrorists. Then when this act happened, you see the rank and file American or non-Muslims and governments say, you see these Muslims? I don't understand why they don't know their laws. Well, you stop the very people who can teach the laws. This is the problem. You stop the rightful Muslims. And I had a talk with somebody yesterday about the same issue. We have where I walk and go places, you have peripheral of a lot of criminal activity. People from the U.S. Embassy, they follow and they talk a lot, telling people a lot of lies. Yet and still, the Muslim criminals are walking by. You know, now we have a lot of petty theft because of what's going on. Okay, it's a lot of petty theft, which is happening everywhere in the world because the economies everywhere are destroyed. But yet, those people are untouched. This is what I'm talking about. They interdict our scholarly body, interdict us. So we can't speak, we can't teach like this, like right now. This, my understanding, I have a lot of people said they didn't even get any notices from YouTube. I've complained to YouTube 1,000 times. But if this is about pornography, pornography goes out. But now we have a problem because we have alleged Muslim who has killed, and we should get to the bottom of this. But a lot of our brothers can't get even on YouTube for fear of being branded and can't leave, can't do this, so forth. So, and I'm not faulting them because we should not be under this type of tyranny to where we cannot speak. And a rightful Muslim scholar, student of knowledge will give knowledge. He would not give the tacit authority for somebody to do what is done in New Orleans or any other place. We don't do this because we know better. We understand the Quran. We understand the Sharia Allah. We understand the Sharia al-Nabi, alayhi salatu. So we can give it to our people and tell them, hey, you got a problem, come to us, talk to us, or go to these individuals here so you can talk this out before you do something. We give you the rightful guidance so you don't do it, but they shut us down. So And then the second part of this, they shut us down, but they do handpicked Muslim scholars. Yes, they are very knowledgeable, but they're handpicked because their guidance is weak and nobody follows them. See, so they handpick certain ones, okay, and then have them to talk. But the Muslim rank and file Muslims say, hey man, we know what you are. You're bought and paid for it. So they don't listen to them. It's a whole game. This is why we have this continued problem. Now you heard me say that we have this recurring problem, and they'll answer the same way. They'll start arresting a bunch of Muslims. They'll start going after everybody. And anyone goes to the airport, they'll say, you went to the same masjid this guy went to who killed it in New Orleans. We have the same problem over and over again. The rightful scholars are silenced, and there lies the problem, as you heard me say. I'll give you another example of this. I saw a brother come on YouTube, another student knowledge, brother, brilliant, studied in Saudi Arabia. I won't give his name. He was talking about some issues like this as well. He was talking about how he wants to give these classes to help our Muslim brothers, but they shut him down. See, they shut him down, and he can't talk. And he's kind of afraid to talk. He's got family, he's got children, and so forth and so on. He's got a job. We understand that. I'm not blaming him for anything, but he did make mention about how basically he was threatened, essentially. Why would you threaten a student of knowledge who has knowledge to help brothers like this and the young and also vulnerable Muslims so they don't commit these type of acts? See, wayward Muslims generally lack the Islamic education and tutelage to handle their anger over Muslims, suffragists around the world. We have a lot of young Muslims. I don't care if it's Morocco going stretching across Dola Arabi in Arabic, meaning the Arab states, okay, Jazeera Arab, all the way across to Morocco and Mauritania and so forth and so on, and other Muslim states. We have a lot of young, impressionable Muslims. See, and because of the ulama is silenced and in their homes being under heavy watch, under terror watch programs, when he go out, there's 150 people going around him, following him, lying to people, trying to get people to fight them and so forth and so on. So we have these kind of problems like this, and the young Muslim has no place to go. So he goes to other wayward Muslims who tell him, hey, we authorize. I heard some guy say this, or I heard another guy say this. We have the right to go after these non-Muslims because I found a passage in the Quran. This is what we're talking about. They usually lack Islamic education, brothers and sisters, and tutelage to handle their anger. Since rightful Muslim intellectuals cannot speak, waywardness is everywhere now. It's everywhere, and this is by design. Would prevail. Moreover, the American approved intellectuals, generally speaking in America, don't garner respect. They don't. So even this brother, we don't, I don't know what his situation is, but you look, most don't listen to these guys who are handpicked. They have 100,000, 200,000 people who follow them. And you have to ask why. And then when you listen to their talks, you understand why. Yes, they're brilliant. They have a lot of knowledge, but there's something wrong. Because when the US government and other governments let them travel the world over, then something's wrong. Whereas they silence me, I can't leave even to go to other Muslim states, even in Africa. And I live here in Africa. And I have many brothers. We all have the same problem. You cannot leave to go anywhere. But a criminal Muslim can travel. But an intellectual Muslim cannot travel unless he's handpicked and he's under the table assisting government forces, and so forth and so on, which is another issue. Their influence are minimal. That's why they're handpicked. That's why they allow them to go everywhere. That's why they allow them to speak, because their influences are minimal. We see them as tools, flunkies, and the like. We have other names in Arabic. I won't touch that because a lot of you don't speak Arabic. You don't understand some of the issues of Islamic jurisprudence, so I won't get into that. But brothers and sisters, this situation that happened in New Orleans, I'm tired of it. Because a lot of this can be stopped and thwarted if the Americans and others, the Western powers, would do the right thing. But they won't do the right thing. And we'll see this same situation pop up again. I won't have to get into the situation about Israel and Gaza. That is a hot spot, and it's something that makes the Muslims very angry. But yet and still, our scholars are on the ground trying to quell the people so they don't do things that would hurt them, their families, and other Muslims. But because they're limited, the word can't get out. Now, American policies on Islam and Muslims is flawed, and for a reason. These wayward Muslims are allowed to explode in order for the justification of persecution of rightful Muslims. This is why this type of thing, he's on the radar. But this guy can come and go everywhere. He's on the radar. They're watching him, or maybe somebody's watching him, or they heard something. They let them go. But most of the rightful scholars, they don't try to leave anymore because they get hassled. And a lot of them are afraid. A lot of them are elderly now. They see somebody following. They don't know if this is a robber or just some agent, government agent's going to kill them, stab them, or shoot them. Because you know what's going on inside the United States, where they justify killing Muslims, especially black men in particular, kill us for, over justification. Well, I saw Sheikh Yahya. He was there. I saw him reach in his pocket. And so they shot me dead because of that. Or they shot another Muslim brother dead because of that. So when he goes out, he see a man following him because he's with Subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the angels are with him as well. We believe in things like this. This is why the scholars in our student bodies of knowledge are very good men and very good citizens. They're not going to go about, out doing things wrong, because they know that the angels are here. We have two angels that follow us, and they write about what our activities. We worry about the hereafter. See? So the wayward Muslims are allowed to explode in order to justification of persecution of rightful Muslims, which is their real target. Their real target is not to stop the killer who killed mass killings in New Orleans or San Bernardino, other places over the years. It's not their target to stop them. Their target is to go to people like me. This is their real target. This is, again, brothers and sisters, why we have all of these miscreant groups. They just skyrocketed. It is so many all over the world. They're everywhere now because of the mishandling of a problem that occurred in 9/11. And it was tragic. And their response to it, and their response is still to this day, after 9/11 has finished, they have killed many Muslims who weren't even born at this time, and killed them and jailed them and interdict them. Because the real target is me. The real target is other Muslims. The real target is to suppress Islam. And the real target, the destruction of Islam and the stopping of the future Islamic rule. They read the hadiths more than Muslims. They know, because the Prophet gave a timeline. You don't think the people in the Pentagon haven't read that? They have read it. They know. They see the signs and they say, wow, he's truly a prophet of God. I know many have said this. Even the book written by ex-CIA agent called the war. I forgot. Oh, I talked about that book many times. Something about war. I forgot what they call it. Something of war, but I forgot the name of that book. Anyway, they talk about this. They picked up these hadiths and they begin to measure, and they are astonished at the validity and the authority and how accurate the Prophet ﷺ was about describing incidents and timeline for going to the to the near time or so forth, near time of Yom Kippur, we call that. And their problem, brothers and sisters, is stopping the future Islamic rule, which is on the way, the Mahdi. There's a lot of reports about this issue, even killing of Muslim children randomly in Gaza and other parts is due to the fact because they want to stop his seed because they don't know who is the mother and father, even though the Prophet ﷺ gave the name of his father. They cannot, they looking to find this, they hoping they can stop this because this Islamic rule is going to be something. It's going to bring prosperity. But even before the Mahdi come, I've said this many times, there's going to be a sultan that will come well before the Mahdi. And I believe he'll come out of Africa and he'll have an army so powerful that nobody can touch it because we're getting to that point now. All of this waywardness we see among Muslims today will vanish when this sultan comes. He will bring in the Sharia Allah, and I would believe he will be here in Africa, his home base. And I also believe, because of things I read and things I saw in the past, that the rule will be coming from Al-Maghrib. Why Al-Maghrib? Because of all of the scholarship and all of the previous granting of authority by Subhanahu wa ta'ala, who granted Al-Maghrib a lot of things. You have a plethora of schools, the first university. You have also the plethora of all of the learned men and so forth and so on. I'm going to tie this in to the topic what happened in New Orleans, but this is a backdrop because the real objective, again, is the scholarship and to stopping Islam and to stop this Mahdi. But before they can do this, they won't do it. They're going to have to contend with some sultan that will come, and he will be powerful. All of this ruthlessness of wayward Muslims killing, all of these groups, miscreant groups, will go by the wayside because anything that, what kills them, and I've said this 1,000 times, if the Muslim states begin to rule under Sharia law, these miscreant groups like the AQ and IS, they will have a very short window because they have nothing to complain about. And he's just and fair. The ruler will be just and fair, so they have nothing to talk about. One of the greatest complaints is they go and say, look, he's a Muslim. He doesn't rule by Sharia law. That's why I fight him. And he has injustices in the land. This is what we talk about, brothers and sisters. See here we have, okay. How you doing, my dear brother? Thank you for showing up very much. I appreciate it. And also here, subscribe to our brother here. Saeed is his name. He's over here in the Gambia. Please subscribe to our brother here. He's got a very interesting platform as well. He's been in the Gambia, I think now going on almost 4 years since he left the United States. Please support our dear brother here as well. And African Royalty, as usual. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And of course, my dear sister, who she's my cousin, and and she's out of United States as well. She's Fulani, and so we're cousins and whatnot. I mean, real cousins. And so I appreciate you coming, my dear cousin. Thank you very much for showing up today. And we got Islam. Okay, our dear brother gave us greetings here. Well, Jazakum Thank you, my dear brother, for showing up. And we have another brother here, AJ Graves, Houston. How you doing, my dear brother? Thank you for Houston, Texas. How you doing, my dear brother? Thank you for showing up today. Don't forget to give your greetings here, dear brother. We're Africans, okay? We're Africans. If you're Christian, Hebrew, or Muslim, you must give your greetings, my dear brother. Thanks for showing up. Okay, now, Muslim suffragists must be handled according to Quranic law. The Sharia, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, the rightful Muslim scholars of the past, their fatwas accordingly. Again, brothers and sisters, the Muslims are governed by laws. We have strict accordances, even overthrowing a ruler. It's not easy. You just can't, just because you see him do something, you say, okay, you know what? Hey, man, it's time for Yahya to go now. No, it doesn't work like that, brothers and sisters. And the same fashion as far as when Muslims go to kill non-Muslims. It doesn't work where I take it on myself to go kill. Now, we're not talking about personal situations where non-Muslims come to attack me inside my home and I kill one of the attackers. We're not talking about that, okay? We're not talking about something like this. Or you walking down the street and some gangsters come who are non-Muslims, they come to take you or take your daughter and you kill one of them or you hurt one of them. We're not talking about that either. This is justified. We're talking about me and others taking the matters in their own hand. We're upset. I'm upset with my family. I'm upset with the masjid. I'm upset with the imam of the masjid. I'm upset with Muslims in general. So I go kill non-Muslims. This is what we're talking about. There's no authority for this. See? And we have to be guided. The Quranic law, Sharia Allah Ta'ala, governs us. Yes, when you're suffering, all of us suffer today's climate, but that doesn't mean that I go out to kill. There's a lot of things I suffer. You hear me talk about many things happen to me here. I don't go out to kill, even though the Tuba from the embassy, I can't go just to kill him straight out, but he come to attack me in my home. Yes, I'll deal with him. I'm going to the master. He come in front of me and try to kidnap me or hurt me. I'm going to deal with him because you're authorized to do that. But even what he's doing, I know what he's doing, hiring people, doing things against me. It doesn't give me the authorization for me to hurt him. I cannot. I have to walk past him and I pray against him. But when he puts his hands on me, or he comes to my house, or he comes in my yard to come after me or my family, that's a different situation. See? So this is what we're talking about. I want to make sure this is clear. Okay. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you for your greetings. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Okay, so we want to make sure we have this understanding. Now, this is a problem, brothers and sisters. We have Muslims who have taken the religion hard, okay, because they do not understand some of the rulings, and they see the promotion of quote unquote moderate Islam. They go to join miscreant groups who spout out the Sharia law, and then they go into waywardness. And false Muslim leaders help to promote their ideology. This, if you go to the Sahel, one of the major causes of this is Muslim leaders, rulers, who promote what the Western powers tell them to promote. This is why we have an insurgency in 25 African states today, because of this false Muslim leaders and others who promote an ideology that is not from the Quran. There's no such thing as moderate Islam. This is a concoction done by the disbelievers and about the Western states who are trying to change Islam, claiming that when you follow the Sharia law, then that's extreme. But if you go to the woman who leaves her hijab, goes in nakedness, go to fornicate, then she's under moderate Islam, she's okay. But the woman who wears her hijab, she doesn't show her body, she doesn't fornicate, she has problems, like they did in France, where they try to strip the Muslim woman, especially when she goes to the beach to go in summer months. They want to strip them down. This is what we're talking about. And so this promotion of ideology of this moderate Islam is a catalyst to why we have insurgencies here in Africa, why we have problems all over the place. And inside the United States, the American Muslims sit there and see the stuff on TV. They see CNN talking crazy about, they have no Islamic knowledge. They're talking about, well, this is moderate Islam and this is this and so forth and so on. We have Muslims, young Muslims, who have bent up anger. So they vent out, and they should not, but they don't have the right scholarly body around them to help them. This is a problem, as you heard me say. The criminal element, newly energized Muslims and their groups are groomed for murderous assaults everywhere. Have you noticed how these groups like this get funded? Who's funding them? Who's funding these groups like this? You notice something, these groups pop up all over the place, and suddenly they had nothing inside their home, and suddenly they're out here with 100 what you call it? I can't think what you call that. I forgot what you call that now. Those vans, whatever. There are 100 of them. Where you get the money for that? Someone's funding them. Now we found out, we even had an ex-CIA agent I saw the other day talk about the same issue, that they funding ISIS and they're funding the AQ. This has been under the table. Now it's been exposed. That makes sense because they're wayward. See? So they are hacked, they are backed, and they're funded like IS and AQ. See? And then they target, this is where we have to be honest now. We have to be honest in this and fair. We have so-called Muslims who are doing things like the AQ and IS and other mystery groups who kill. They go after rightful Islamic scholarship, the ulama, the devout Muslims, hated by America. They go after them as well, and the West, and the innocent. This is who they target, whether Muslim, Jew, or Christian are their main targets. Western security apparatuses. Now, see this logic, aren't targeted. Israel isn't targeted. Now, think about what I just said, brothers and sisters. These miscreant groups go after me. They go after other scholars and intellectuals, right? They go after innocent people. They seem to get funded. They can travel everywhere. No problem. See? And yet and still, they don't target the Western security apparatuses. They don't target Israel. Nor other enemies of Islam and their security apparatus. They don't touch them. Now you get the picture why this type of thing that happened in New Orleans, as tragic as it is. See, we have to go back and look. Some of this intelligence information they will give, they will not talk and tell you where it came, where this information came from, or what was behind it. They'll leave that out because they have a narrative they want. You know, you see these Muslims, oh man, now that's why we got to go after them at the airports. That's why we have to catalog them. That's why we got to put them on terror watch list. When they travel, we make sure that they can't come back in the country. All of this type of thing. But those like this, see, but those here who go after the scholars, the ulama, they can travel, go cars across the United States. They go into Muslim countries, no problem. Because they're targeting the ulama and the fuqaha, the devout Muslims ourselves. But when they kill the innocent, they also are working on behalf of the Western powers, because the Western powers can then use their activity to go after people like us and other rightful Muslims. Okay, and all the over a billion Muslims are not involved in crime, but they're under some form of interdiction, some interdiction, some problem, and so forth and so on. This is where we talk about, brothers and sisters. So I'm hoping you get the picture. Why something like this, we should talk about this so we can get this out. See here, we got some comments here. Our brother said, thank you, my dear brother. Thank you, my dear brother. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And ISIS flag just said in car should tell you everything. Okay, my dear brother, I'm going to touch this in a minute. Hold fast about the quote unquote ISIS flag, and give me clarification on what you mean. Also, give the brothers and sisters in the chat here your clarification, because yes, the flag tells you something. But I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But give me something more about your comment here, my dear brother, please. Please send it to the chat. We appreciate that here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. They're not targeted, as I said. They're not targeted. The Western apparatuses, security, they're not targeted. The government officials from the Western powers are not targeted. The parliament and others are not targeted. They're safe from these people, but I'm not safe from them. And many of the ulama fuqaha and intellectuals and students of knowledge are not safe from them. We have a name for this also. You heard me say many times before, we call Khawarij. The Khawarij are the people who kill Muslims and Muslimin, okay, and mu'minin, and they don't touch the disbelievers. See, they don't touch them. This we call the Khawarij. Now, we have to be fair. We know what the West is doing, and we know that they're behind a lot of this madness. But we have to be equal and fair to say that the Muslims are at fault as well, because we have to ask, when these people make bay'ah, what we call pledge to ISIS or AQ, then we have to ask questions about this. And I ask you now, and somebody do their research on ISIS and AQ. How many dignitaries have IS and AQ killed in Israel? Now, brothers and sisters, we get to the real problem here. How many? They have all this expertise. They go to New Orleans. They go to San Bernardino, California. They go to New York City. They go to Paris, France, and they kill using stealth. They kill Muslims and non-Muslims with bombs and IEDs and all kinds of things. Hold fast, my dear brother. I'm going to get to you about your question here. Please hold fast in the chat. I want to make a point here, my dear brothers. I'm going to make a point. You do your research. How many attacks have ISIS, the AQ, and their subsidiaries, their subgroups, how many have they killed inside Israel? How many parliament members have they killed? How many bombs have they laid out? How many IEDs have they put in Haifa and other places? How many? How many IS or AQ IED devices are activated in Israel? You'll find the answer is none. None. Why is that? Why is that? Huh? Now you understand why I said, you heard me say, those follow me on my talks about the Sahel, why I said I want, and I have to use this, I don't want to use this type of language where we speak English. I want to make the emphasis to this because I speak in Arabic. I can make the emphasis and so forth in the Arabic language to bring my point, but I got to say this in English. That's why I want the bastards out of the Sahel. Now you understand why I talk like I talk against them. Because they don't touch anybody from Israel. They don't touch their dignitaries. Because they would probably get a bigger following if they start to go after the very people who are killing the Muslims. They don't touch them. This is what I'm talking about. Our brother here, alleged brother who did the killing in New Orleans. Why don't he use his, he had someone assisted him because they found allegedly a IED. How did he get that? Somebody had to assist him. Why don't they use this if they want to think of doing a jihad and use it to stop the Israelis, see, from doing what they're doing in Gaza and other parts in Jazira Arab? You see what I'm talking about? We have to be fair. Yes, the Americans and their apparatus in the West are doing their number. Yes, we talk against them, but we got to talk about the Muslims too. And this is a big problem. IS and AQ are a serious problem for the Muslims. They put a fitna because the things they do, and yet and still the ones who they should be targeting, they don't. I give example of this, brothers and sisters. I get to you, my dear brother. Hold fast. I'll give you two examples. You have Afghanistan, okay? Now, the Taliban took over. Who is the biggest target? Who is targeting the Taliban today? Is it the Russians? Is it the Americans? Who are the biggest threat? No, it's other Muslims. The AQ and ISIS is and the Khorasan, I believe too. These are wayward groups are targeting the Taliban. Now, they take an airplane. Why don't they go across and target the Israelis to help their brothers in Gaza? They won't touch them. Oh, excuse me, my brothers and sisters. I got to advance. Excuse me for a minute here. I forgot to turn it off. Excuse me for a minute. Sorry, excuse me. They won't target. If somebody remembers here about 5 or 10 years ago, no, not even that. Excuse me. Maybe because, boy, time is flying. Maybe 7 years ago, the incidents that happened in Gaza, where they had a few pipe bombs here and there, it wasn't the Israelis who did it. It was ISIS. And they used the complaint. They killed many people from Hamas and innocent Muslims in Palestine. Think about this, brothers and sisters. These wayward Muslims were not caught by the Israeli forces, but Hamas caught them and executed them. Now, why didn't they go kill the Israelis? They're right there in their checkpoints. Why didn't they go target them? They didn't. They came to Gaza to kill other Muslims. They claimed the reason why they wanted to do the killing is because Hamas was not ruling by the Sharia. You see what I'm talking about? You see now what I'm talking about. Here's the Israelis who are occupiers. They're not being touched. These people from IS walk right past them and they see me and they kill me and they let the soldiers go. We have to be fair. We got problems within the Muslim Ummah, and these groups here are a scourge in our Ummah, our communities. And this brother who did killing in New Orleans supposed to have made bay'ah to ISIS. This is what we're talking about, brothers and sisters. Now let's get to some here. Our brothers here. He said here. I was waiting for him to give me. His comment here, but he didn't do it. Okay. ISIS AQ RC. Yes. Now we had. Thank you for the comment, dear brother. I saw now, and this all over the YouTube, where ex-agents who are now retired are talking about this issue, are funded. They are funded. See, this is now you understand why they could go to Gaza, walk past the Israelis, walk past Israeli dignitaries. They don't go inside Israel to kill anybody there, but they go to Gaza to kill Muslims, Palestinians, their brothers in Islam. They kill them over alleged grievances because Hamas, they said, is not ruling by the Sharia. Yet and still, the PLO who are running the other part of Palestine, they didn't touch them. You see the picture, brothers and sisters. You see the picture. Thank you for that comment, dear brother. All these incidents are by design. The brothers in New Orleans incident was under Yes, we believe in, because again, it's alleged it came out that this brother was having marital problems, and it's alleged that he wanted to kill his family. Alleged, because we don't know if this is true or not, because now he's dead, so we don't know, if this is the case or not. But we do know that his attack, what he did here, didn't make no sense, because a rightful Muslim would not do this. And for him just to go and plow down innocent individuals is something. And he killed other African Americans on top of that. See, this is what we're talking about. This is a sad epitaph, brothers and sisters. And, and this is one reason why I'm talking about this, because I want it out. So you spread this tape and you guys ponder my words. And those you hear that talk crazy about Muslims, saying that all of us are given authority. You asked them, you said the Muslims are given authority to kill you and other non-Muslims. You said, well, why don't you listen to what he had to say here? So you can get this out, because we'll have this talk. I've already heard it. I heard this blonde-haired lady talking in the United States talking about, yeah, you see, this is the problem. Why we need to have the Muslims under strict surveillance, because they can kill any of us at any time. That was uncalled for. She didn't have to say that. That's wrong. She knows that. See, she knows that. So we go to the crux of this, brothers and sisters. How many? These miscreant groups, they have expertise of putting bombs on airplanes. They can detonate cars. They can put IED where you and me can't get to. They have this expertise to do these things. But not yet one IED has not been placed at the parliament. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about wanton murder. I'm not talking about this. I'm just saying they're killing us and they're killing innocent people. But the people who they should be fighting, they don't fight them. This is my argument. And that's why I'm asking this question by here. How many attacks have been led by these groups in Israel? None. See? There's no such thing. And now I want to answer the question to our brother who made comment here. Let's talk to our brother here. I was trying to get him to, he was talking about the flag here. Where did he have that? Okay, yeah, here we go. Our brother said ISIS flag. Now I'm going to give you something about this so-called ISIS flag. I got to get this out so that way for your education, especially non-Muslims, so you guys can understand this. Okay? So you can understand what I'm talking about. There's no such thing as ISIS or AQ flag. There's a flag of Tawheed Allah. You'll see the flags that they carry. This is the flag authorized by our Prophet ﷺ. It's been hijacked by these miscreant groups. Now you see what I'm talking about? A flag of Tawheed, which they were doing at the time of the Prophet ﷺ was authorized to do. Okay, now has taken on a vehicle of terror where everybody calls it ISIS flag or AQ or some other type of miscreant group, their flag. It is not their flag. This flag, the verbiage on it is, the Tawheed Allah, which is your shahadatain that you take, is all written on the flag itself. It's not authorizing anybody to kill anybody. This is Tawheed. Tawheed means oneness in Allah. It's ironic that they use that and they go kill people like me and my family, or they go kill other Muslims. Yet they walk around with this flag, the Tawheed, a flag of Tawheed, and they're killing other Muslims unjustly. In Islam, that flag is the only authorized flag. But we have flags all over now. Muslim states all have their own flags. I have to be honest, those flags are not authorized under the Sharia law. But that's another story altogether. The flag of Tawheed. But since now the miscreant groups have taken this flag, and now everybody's calling it the AQ flag, the IS flag, the Khorasan flag, and it's wrong. That's why I waited until I got to this point so I can help our brother here who made the comment about the ISIS flag. There's no such thing as that. Those words are beautiful words of Tawheed, and we recite these words. Has nothing to do with killing anybody. It's the exact opposite of that. It's talking about your obedience to Subhanahu wa ta'ala and to our Prophet ﷺ. That has nothing to do with killing anybody. It's the exact opposite of that. So that's why, again, I want to make sure we understand that, because the West pushes that. See, by saying you have this flag, you're a terrorist. And it's wrong. This is why they silence people like us, because I'll tell you straight out, this flag is authorized and has nothing to do with terror. And this flag doesn't belong to ISIS and AQ. They didn't invent this. This was invented over 1,400 years ago by our Sahaba, who the companions of the Prophet, and it was used at the time of war and so forth and so on. You understand? And at the time when they were fighting against to defeat the enemy who was fighting them and persecuting them, it was authorized as a vehicle for Tawheed, meaning the oneness of Allah. This is what that is. I want this to understand this point. So we should not use a term that this belongs to the AQ or IS. It doesn't. It's the exact opposite of that. It belongs to all Muslims, and it's a sign of Tawheed. And this is the only authorized flag that we have that is authorized for Muslims to use. But nobody, hardly, Saudi Arabia uses it, of course. I can't remember, some others use it, but most of the Arab states today, they don't have this. They have their own flag and so forth. So those flags are not according to what the Prophet ﷺ had authorized. We got here, we have here, okay, our brother said this, and then now our brother said here, every time there's an incident of a black man that goes national, they have a military background. Yes, they have that. And also, brothers and sisters, you notice how quick their picture is posted. Now I understand he's supposed to have alleged accomplice, and I think he's a Afro American from the same army base or something like this, what I read. Where's this picture at? Yeah. When we do something wrong, our picture, especially when it's as heinous as this, our picture is thrown up there very quickly. And many times the pictures are highlighted to make the person look more evil than what he is. Because if you see the picture, even that I posted, versus the other pictures now showing him when he was in the military and other in his walks of life, he doesn't look that evil. But look at the other picture. That's why I deliberately put it so you can see. Look how evil and devilish he looks in my marquee that I showed. And then look at the other pictures of him. They're totally different because it's like the pictures have been doctored to make him look more evil. Well, welcome, salam, my dear brother. Salam. Thank you very much for showing up. It's interesting that as soon as the public support for the Israeli war starts going down, here comes another attack, ISIS attack, seem to benefit the American-Israeli agenda. Yes, it does, because, again, the real aim is not to stop the IS because they're funding them. It's not their aim to stop the AQ. They're funding them. And it's not their aim to stop the other miscreant groups. If they don't fund them, they let them to survive. See, we know that. And this is, again, a game and problem. And the fact is that the American people, they should understand this game is killing them because they know what they're doing by funding and authorizing these groups to flourish, knowing that they're going to kill some innocent person. So that way they'll use this as a vehicle to go after all of the scholars. The scholars and the learned Muslims are under fire. I mean, many have been killed now. Many are jailed. Many are silenced. Many are in their homes. Many can't go to the masjids. You see, they put an all-out assault on us. But they allow these miscreant groups to flourish. Now, because of their policies, these groups have skyrocketed. Now these groups have graduated to where they do fight, especially in the Sahel. They will fight the Americans and others. As the Russians know now, with the Wagner group, how many? They have hundreds have killed in the last 4 or 5 months, have been killed in the Sahel. They're killing them now. See, they're killing disbelievers. I'm talking about their apparatuses and their militaries. These are targeting them. See, so their treachery has now graduated into something where now these people will start fighting them. Not the AQ and ISIS, no, but the others who are allowed to flourish at the beginning. now have graduated where they got hundreds of men now, and now they are killing, and now they are fighting the West. Trump and we're probably going to cut funding. Yes, they may cut funding. They may say that, but then under the table, they may not. We do not know what he's going to do about this, and because he has advisors, and advisors tell him no, because they still serve a purpose. This is why the American people are being doped, because they don't understand what's going on. They're part of the pond. They're part of the game that is happening. And this is why, again, if they understood that these groups are allowed to flourish in order for them to go after the people like us. Have you noticed, why can't they stamp these groups out? They can't. See? So who are they targeting? And this is what we talked about. When they go to the Muslim states, they tell the Muslim states, because less than 0.00% of the people in Muslim states belong to these groups. They're not, they just don't. Most Muslims, you go here to Morocco, you don't have this type of stuff. Maybe one or two here and there out of millions of people. They may get wayward and they claim to join these groups. Yet those groups, these certain groups like this come about, and so forth and so on. The ones who are targeted are the real devout Muslims, because it's by design, as you heard me say. Our brother here says, so it may be suspect. You never know. People are saying he was set up. He could have been, what do they call it in law, entrapment? It could have been that. He might have got a hold. He might have got to a government agent who was portraying himself as a Muslim, who urged him to do this. We know of cases like this before too, where they said it was entrapment, but I don't know. I don't think they got away with it, but they said it was entrapment because the government agent provided all the necessary tools for him to commit the terrorist act. We don't know if this is the case yet because it's still fluid. But I understand you answered the point. This is part of this as well. And all this will come out, or some of it may not come out, or it may come out many, many years down the road, like we start to see now. See, we start to hear ex-agents talking about what they're doing to fund these groups. So it's a possibility. There was also a truck exposure. Yes, see, this is what I heard. And also they said that there's a possibility that this other one who was linked to the same army base. This is what was said. Well, have they shown this picture yet? Perhaps they have, but after a long time. But our brother here who did a killing, who was killed now, this picture sprang up quickly everywhere. And this is, again, brothers and sisters, a sad epitaph, because we have a problem that is all this is based upon evil. From the side of the Americans in the West to the wayward groups are all guided by evil influence and pressure. The Americans are not governing using the laws of law. They're not using Jewish law or any other law except they do. They manifest what they want. They have people who do not believe in the government. These people are guided not by a law, but by the devil. This is why we have so much devilishness. Now that this stuff is uncovered, you can understand what has happened. Who would go to fund a group so they can kill innocent people? It's the same formula like here with the U.S. Embassy hire, their agents hire thugs to go after people like us. See, it's the same evil. Who make them do that? Allah does not guide any name you want to call our supreme being. He does not guide people to do evil works. The devil does. The devil orchestrates this type of thing. The devil doesn't go to tell me to wake up in the morning, go find local criminals, hire them to go after innocent, old, respectful Muslims who go to the masjid. Who does things like that? Subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't guide them to do this. This is what we're talking about. No photo has been, see, by his name, they gave his name. He looked like he's a Tubab. It's funny, isn't it? They said he's suspected of being in this pipe bomb, this bomb outside of the Las Vegas, wherever it's at, but they have not showed us picture yet. This is very interesting, isn't it? See, So, brothers and sisters, I brought this out because I wanted to talk about this issue, and I wanted to make sure that we have understanding about this issue, and we have to be fair and equal, because we have two wrongs, two devilish parts to this. We have the Western powers and we have the miscreant groups. Both are being guided by evil influences and powers. And what they're doing, they're doping everybody. Good Muslims, non-Muslims alike, are being doped. We're part of a game that any of us can get killed at any time. See, and this is why we have this particular problem, and this is why I've talked about this today, because I want to give you food for thought so you can kind of decipher a little better, because you have to ask these questions. Again, brothers and sisters, you have to ask questions like, why haven't any of these groups touched anybody in Israel? How many of their politicians been assassinated? Huh? How many of their politicians have had pipe bombs put in their car? How many have had home invasion raids by these groups? Huh? How many? This is what we're talking about. See, this is what we're talking about, brothers and sisters. But how many IEDs been placed on Muslim scholars and other strong Muslims? They killed hundreds and hundreds of Muslims over the years. When they went into Gaza, they walked right past the security checkpoints. They walked past the policemen in the streets of Israel. They walked past their military apparatuses. They didn't touch them. They went and go killed some people from Hamas who are brothers in Islam. You see what I'm talking about? This is why we have to be fair. We have devilishness even on our side as well. We have these guys here who target us, who leave the Israelis alone. They leave the American apparatuses alone as well. It's a pawn, a pawn, brothers and sisters. And it's treachery at the greatest level, because now you're talking about human beings being assassinated and killed. And all the while, again, you have the two groups. You have the miscreant groups who target the strong Muslims, and you have the Western powers who target both are going after us. See, both. This is by design. See, this is by design. And so, we should understand this factor and make sure that we ponder this. And we have to understand this, brothers and sisters, that we are human beings. And we must have brotherly love in the sense of every human being are as a community of brotherhood, because we are human beings. But then that's where it stops there, where we have Muslims and so forth and so on. That is what we believe. Brotherhood and humanity, we have that. But brothers and sisters, I don't care who is being killed unjustly, it is wrong. And when Muslims do it, we have to take the Muslims to task for it. When Muslims are joining groups to kill innocent Muslims, we have to take them to task for it. We have to get to the bottom of it to see who's funding them. When the West is doing their number, we have to talk against them, because we know that their real target is not IS and AQ, because now CIA agents and ex-agents are admitting they are funding them. See, their real target is those like me and others. This is their real target. And you can look at that, because you look even here, the criminal element is safe from them. It's safe. They're safe. But those like me, we're not safe from their treachery and their genocidal hate for Muslims to kill us, They will. But those criminals, okay, who they have the power and means to bring the society and bring peace. So these type of wanted criminals who are thieves and drug dealers and so forth, they don't touch them. They only go after us. And that's why we have to take them to task for. Now you understand the program, brothers and sisters. They fund other Muslims to go after the strong Muslims, like the AQ and IS. This is the same program everywhere. And we're all innocent. We're pawns in this vicious, devilish game. See, and this is why we talk about this today and why you give you food for thought. And we got here, Boko Haram is another. I don't know if this is the case, or I heard, it may be France and Britain. I heard a lot of things about them, or there may be some other financiers in Jazeera Arab. I don't know. I remember reading here about 2.5 years ago. I reported about one financier who they attract funds, his funds leading to these accounts to many groups like Boko Haram and so forth and so on. See, but that's alleged. It's alleged that this guy was financing him. But again, he was a billionaire or a multimillionaire. I mean, very, very wealthy man. So I'm not going to say the money came from the Americans and the Americans then gave it to him. He in turn gave it. I don't know if this is the case, but this man is very, very wealthy, and he was suspected of funding many Mujahideen groups. So I'm not sure of that. Okay, the news saying that bomb detonators malfunction. No, that's very yes. Yeah, see, now who did this bomb? Where did they get the materials to make it? Who is funding them? See, who is funding them? I venture to say when all the smoke is clear, we'll probably know who's funding them. But they may never report this. I don't know. See, and boy, I mean, this is a very, very sad case. So brothers and sisters, I'm getting close here to stopping. I just wanted to touch on this particular case today, and I appreciate your input in this, because we should think about this, because anybody can be killed, especially in the United States and elsewhere, by some man or something who is wayward, a Muslim in particular who's wayward. United States, you got genocidal racists who would target people of color. You have a lot of different aspects that is played out inside the United States. Okay, who do mass killings where they start to shoot everybody in the mall. These are not Muslims; these are non-Muslims who do the mass killings as well and whatnot. So we have to, all of us at this stage, have to always protect the innocent. I don't care if they're Muslims or non-Muslims. The innocent have a right to live, and Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is the only one authorized to grant the taking of life. And that may be done by things that he know, and that's why we say Allah alam, to cover us, because we cannot speak for Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We say this because we do not know, but we can speculate to a degree, but we do not know. And that's why we use this term to cover us, because we cannot speak for Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We cannot. See, even in the book of the Quran, we have to have the tafsir, because when Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says his words in there, we have to make sure we understand what he meant by that. So it's very, very, serious matter. And he even says in there that the word is used to tabdil, meaning to corrupt something. His words will see the fire. See, so we have serious implications in why I'm saying under Islamic law, it's very serious matter. See, it's not like you hear CNN by saying that Muslims are authorized to kill unjustly. That's not the case. You hear me talk about this again today, and I hope I cleared that up and so forth and so on. Because these groups here, these media outlets are far worse themselves, because they also spurn others to do other acts. Now, because of this, it spurns the wayward, non-Muslims to go attack innocent Muslims. See, so this whole thing, the masjids who are innocent of this crime and other crimes will now be targeted, and those inside of them will be investigated, and then they'll be alleged to be linked to them. See, all of this thing, brothers and sisters, is a vehicle to target the rightful Muslims and to change Islam and to have the people to go after them. When non-Muslims go to kill Muslims unjustly, Muslims go to groups. Those groups suddenly, they're 5, 10, 15. One day you wake up, they're 100. Next day you wake up, there's 500. And they're using 100, 200 vehicles. Who funded them that quickly to make them go out to start to kill non-Muslims unjustly? See, this is a big issue, brothers and sisters. Big, big issue. Where it said it was in debt. So, yeah, he was. Yeah, see, this is alleged he was in debt and he's divorced and all this other things. This is alleged that all this took place. It's really a shame that we have to talk about this, but we will have to see something like this down the road again, and you'll know what is behind it, because this Muslim should have went to a Muslim student of knowledge to discuss his matter with him. But we know that it's very difficult to find us. Why? Because of the security apparatuses of the West who target us. They call us the terrorists, the real terrorists, even though we don't kill anybody. We're against AQ and IS, but they still call us terrorists. Why? Because they want to destroy Islam. And when you destroy the religious body who educates and helps, who are guided by Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and to help the Muslims to live a rightful life, they target us. See, and now you see the story. And again, that formula plays out over and over again. This brother here probably was on the radar. We don't know. We'll probably get some of it. But he was probably free to go back and forth. But the rightful, strong, devout Muslims inside the United States that the Americans don't like, they live in the United States, they're under heavy, heavy, heavy surveillance. They're on watch lists, terror watch lists, kill lists. They don't hurt anybody. They talk against these people because we know the Quran. We know what the Prophet ﷺ has said, but they go after us and call us co-conspirators to terror. We're authorizing terror. We're involved in terrorist groups. And I've said this 1,000 times. Everybody that knows me around here know basically I don't hide anything. They see me going to the masjid. They know I take my walks in the morning. Easy to follow me. I'm 70 years old now. I go to the bank. I go to the souk, to the market to buy food for the family. I take my walk. I go feed the animals. I do this in the morning. Dogs, cats, I do this. So it's easy. But they call this a road to terror. But the criminals who are out robbing, stealing the telephones from our sisters here, they're free. These bastards don't target them. They don't talk against them. They even hire them, but they go against. Oh, this guy. Now you see, he's got a turban. He's this. He's that. Oh, he's involved. This and that, and they go and lie on us. And when people come up to me and they start talking to me, some even ask me, they heard I stole something from some building, or they'll say, I heard you did this. I heard you went to get money to go fund a terrorist group. Where did all this come from? There's none. I'm on my computer. I make my bank transactions. My bank is inside the United States. So, they have all of this evidence. They know where my money is going to, but they tell the people that the money is going to fund miscreant groups. It's them who fund the miscreant groups. It's not me. I'm talking against them. See, or they'll say that I belong to some group. You heard me say 1,000 times. I go by the Prophet ﷺ, and I will close so you guys can understand this. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, meaning the sayings of the Prophet, authentic. He said there will be 73 groups, Islamic groups. This is chilling, brothers and sisters, why you understand why I have my position. Because we read and we try to understand the words from Subhanahu wa ta'ala and our Prophet. He says 72 of them are wayward. In some accounts, it said that they were going to the fire. We have other scholars who said, no, that's not what the Prophet meant. He was not meaning in this regard, but he said they were wayward groups. If 72 of these groups that we see out here, part of this, that the Prophet talking about, why should I join those groups? This is what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Why we should be teaching the people to understand. We have many Jamaat Islamiyah groups. You don't see me going to their meetings. You don't see me joining them. Matter of fact, I had arguments with many of them because I know what they're doing is wrong. Yes, they're our brothers, yes, but I disagree with them on their mode and apparatus because I know what the Prophet said. Now you understand that, but yet and still, the guys out of the embassy will go tell these people, oh man, this guy, he's belonging to all these groups over here. Oh, he's doing this, he's funding that. And it's not the case, see? And this is what we talk about. But the ones who are more prone to doing things are walking around, nobody's touching them. Nobody's touching them. And this is why this is a complete treachery, brothers and sisters. Treachery. See, evil forces at work. And I'm hoping that they get to the bottom of this in New Orleans. But they're going to have to clean up their apparatuses too, because it's them who's spurning these groups and these people to do this. And when you take away all of the learned people in Islam and you put muzzles on them, you keep them in their homes, you call them terrorists, you say they're criminals, then these wayward people they'd have nobody to talk to except other wayward people like themselves who they join. And this is why we have the problem. And then when they do strike, then they go back to me and say, yeah, why you didn't say something here? Why you didn't do this? You see to me how difficult the situation is. Because we're not allowed to talk. We're not allowed to speak. I'm speaking about it, and I know I'm going to get flack for it. See? Which I understand it, but I'm talking the truth. I'm exposing a problem on both sides. We have Muslims and we have non-Muslims. We have non-Muslim apparatuses who are behind these type of acts, and it's wrong. And I have to talk about that. I would advise all Muslims who will view this is anytime you have problems, it's even if you can go to Google and put in words, I need something, I need guidance, something that Google will pop up so you can go to a rightful student knowledge or scholar who can help you so you don't have problems like what has happened in New Orleans. See? And we and to help guide, because many of us, we cannot speak to help to guide. And I hate to see Muslims killed unjustly because they have no authority to do it. And this is what is the crux of all of this. And it's a problem, brothers and sisters. As you can see today, you see what has happened. And when we look at this, we have to go back to the Genesis. What is causing this? And I did today to talk about what's causing this. And I exposed something, again, that should get you to really to start to think about this. Because when you look at something here, like in these words here, Scott, why are they are targeting these miscreant Muslim, so-called Muslim groups are targeting rightful Islamic scholarship? Why is that? Who's funding them? Huh? The ulama, our scholarly body, the devout Muslims are being targeted by these so-called Muslim groups. Who's funding these Muslim groups to do this? We now know that the Western powers are funding them to go after us. See? And they are safe. They are safe from any of that. And then we look at something. They don't target Israel. They say they're following the Sharia law. They say they want to protect the Muslim Ummah, but they kill people like me. But they leave Israel, who is genocidally killing the Palestinians. They don't touch them. And you heard me talk about the case in Gaza. The IS was there, and they bypassed all the Israeli soldiers and their apparatuses, didn't touch one of them, didn't put a pipe bomb, didn't blow up any building, didn't blow up any army barricades, nothing. They went and killed other Muslims in Palestine and they left the Israelis alone. Now you understand what this is about. See, they don't target the Israelis and the security apparatuses. Now, I'm not talking about the rifle Mujahideen groups. That's another story. You heard me talk in the Sahel. You follow my talks, talk about the Sahel. The Sahel are targeting the West for obvious reasons because the West is there. They have no business being there and they're fighting them. They have the right to fight them back. No different, as you heard me say, if a Muslim groups go to attack inside America, everybody inside the United States have the right to defend themselves against this invasion. The same holds true for Black Africans, the Sudani. That's what, Arabic meaning the black man. They have the right to protect themselves from their aggression. They come into Mali, they come into Burkina Faso, Niger, or anywhere in the Sahel, and like what's happened now with mischief, we have the right to fight them, to drive them out. Just like they have the right to drive people like us out who are attacking Americans like this in New Orleans. They have the right to drive us out. And Americans should fight those who fight against them unjustly. But again, they don't target those criminals. We understand why now. They fund them. So they go after people like me in their war of terror and say that we are the real causes of all of this. Yet and still, 99.9% of us don't have guns. We don't have any military madness behind us. We don't have IED. We don't have hidden caches of weapons. We don't have 100, 200, 300, 400 men behind us to go kill. We don't have any of that, but all of us are branded as a threat to the state. Go figure, brothers and sisters. Go figure. Go figure that out, Go figure. And this is, again, brothers and sisters, a sad epitaph, and I had to talk about that today. And I appreciate those who showed up today. If you have any questions, brothers and sisters, please, I'll entertain any thoughts here. Please state your question if you have something. I still have a little bit more time. And if you have a question, if you're new, you're just now coming on to the show, please greet those in the chat. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, you have any comments, you have a thought that you want to put out, please put your comments in now and whatnot, and I will answer those questions. And also, brothers and sisters, on a side note, those who showed up late, I'm having now a mailing list, because I heard that we have a lot of people are not getting information about my shows. They're just not. It's just not being broadcast. And so, and if you want, and a lot of times I have things to say, and like I learned this from our brother here. And please subscribe to our dear brother here, King Cam. He's a good brother, a good, honest man, and a good African. And he's a good African, even though he's Hausa. I'm just joking, but he's Hausa. But he's got Fulani blood too, but he's Hausa. And but our dear brother here is a good man and whatnot. I got some, I kind of mentioned, and I saw his, I said, hey, this is what I want to do. So I have to give credit to my dear brother here. I want to start that too, because that way, brothers and sisters, if you need information or something, you can go to my email, and you can be on my list. And when I have comments, I can give you a comment. Or if you have something that you want to ask me about Africa, I can help you to get that answer and so forth and so on. And that way I can get this information to you. So I got this from King Cam, and I really appreciate that from him. So that way you have my email address here, brothers and sisters, and you can be on my mailing list. I've got about 5 or 6 people now. I like to see hundreds of you guys on this. If you want certain types of things, I'll have comments sometimes, even though I may not have a show, but I'll put a comment and maybe get you to think. Because why you may ask, well, what is Yahya doing? Well, Sheikh Yahya, well, why is he doing this? Because if you think about this, brothers and sisters, this is African customs. Huh? Our elders have always taught. When our children became elders, they taught those under them. This is African custom. This is African custom. And most of us here are Africans, either born on the continent, born in America, born in the Caribbean, or Canada, or in Europe. But this is African custom. The elders always teach. That's why we were stronger when we had this apparatus going, and then it was destroyed. See, so this is why I'm pushing this and so forth and so on. Especially if I'm getting ready to do a program, I've been told again now, hardly anybody is getting the notices anymore. This way, I can send the notice out to you per email and so forth and so on and whatnot. And again, brothers and sisters, please subscribe to me and whatnot, and subscribe to our dear brother here, King Cam, and also here, our dear brother here in Gambia. Please subscribe to him, to Said's channel. He has a very versed channel as well. He covers a lot of different topics and whatnot. He's in the Gambia. He's actually in West Africa, so that's a good thing. And you get a lot of well-rounded education here, because all of us got something different. You talk about my show, then King Cam's show. He's got something a little different platform. I have a little different platform. Now you have another African American brother who is actually in Africa, West Africa. He's got point of views. He's also got things he brings out. And so please subscribe to him as well. Our dear brother here, African Royalty, thank you very much, brother, for you always supporting me, and I really appreciate that. And you always coming on my programs. I really appreciate that. And thanks for coming, my dear cousin, being here. Thank you very much, my dear cousin, for showing up today. And our dear brother here is giving his thanks and whatnot. And Mr. Graves here, thank you, dear brother, for showing up again today. It's greatly appreciated. And our dear brother here, my Fulani brother here, thank you very much, my dear brother, for showing up. I always tease about it. I know he's Fulani. He's got the look of Fulani. I know he's Fulani, brother. And I always tease him about that. And thank you for showing up, my dear brother. And thank you, my dear brother, for showing up today and making your comments. I really appreciate that. And our dear brother here, Larry, thank you very much, dear brother, for showing up today. I really appreciate that. And our brother here, Perception Rules, thank you very much for your comments, dear brother. Thank you very much. So this just about it, my dear brothers. And our dear brother here, Quad, how you doing, my dear brother? Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciate that. So again, like I said, dear brothers and sisters, if you want to subscribe to my email, please get a hold of me. I gave my email address there, and that way, you can stay connected and whatnot. And sometimes I'll make comments. I may have something that I found something, especially when we have African history. I'll start to go back. I've been promising, and I've been talking to my brother King Cam. We almost correspond almost every day, and I've been talking to him. And I want to get back to ancient Kemp, but something always comes up, like this case here. So I start to talk about it. But I will get back to ancient Kemp pretty soon as well. And our dear brother here says Alhamdulillah, and so forth and so on. And please subscribe to this station. So my dear brothers and sisters, I don't see any more comments today and whatnot. And and I appreciate that that you did show up today, and those who will show up in the future. Again, please ponder what I said here today. think about some of the things I said here and do your investigation yourself. And you start to tie the loose ends up, because you have to always ask the questions. Why is this always happening inside the United States? Why things are happening here? It's all, there's a nexus to this. There's something evil behind it. See? And when you have two groups that are guided by the devil, you're going to have this type of an explosion. You're going to have this type of evilness to where it doesn't make sense. See? But to some of us, it does make sense, because we live, because we know we're the real targets. That's why we talk. And now we have some evidence to why we have these groups and why they're funded and why they're not being destroyed, and they're killing ruthlessly. And all Muslims who are not doing this, we're blamed for it. And it's really a mess. Yes, this is, we have to really look what has happened, what is happening. Everybody in the world knows that the moral structure of the United States is going downhill. It's going straight to the toilet. And we know that. We see that. And I was born and raised there. And I hate to see what is transpiring there inside the United States. With its might, it could really truly lead in the right way where people love it and not hate it. But they have left the goodness of Subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they sided with the devil, and the devil it gave them a path of destruction. The economy, the people, there's strife. Now in Africa, people are starting to throw them out. Now people are starting to look at them as an enemy. When they come talk to Bolivia, or they come to Morocco, or they come to Ghana and start talking about human rights, they look at what's going on inside the United States and see the evilness. When they start to talk about our elections over here they elected someone who's been convicted of a crime. I mean, it goes on, and it's not, it's really a shame to see the depths of the evilness that's happening in America today. It's really a shame. But the West in itself, because they have left the way of Jesus. They said they're Christians, but they have nothing to do Christianity, and they are not following anything of the book they swear they follow, the Bible. They're not following that, because they wouldn't be doing this type of thing and stuff. We all make mistakes, yes, but the stuff of evilness that is going on is not being guided by Allah or Jehovah or Yahweh or any name you want to call him. He's not guiding that. This is the work of the devil, and we should understand that, and we should make our prayers, and we should pray that the goodness will come about. And we have sayings in Islam, but it's Islamic. I won't get into that. We'll help you in this regard like this, and I will just give you a little bit of this. We have one that is famous, which is very beautiful, Khair inshallah, meaning the goodness. Subhanahu wa ta'ala will will this goodness if he wills it. If he says it's going to happen, or if he's going to give it to you, we want it. So we say Khair inshallah, but I add more to it by saying Khair inshallah bi'ithnillah, because for me, I like to put that other emphasis again with Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khair means good, goodness, rightful things, and so forth and so on. So Khair inshallah means Subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he grants this, if he wills this, but I also put with his permission, because we need his permission. If he's going to give us the goodness, because we know he's going to give the goodness in his time, but with his permission, when he's ready to give this. This is what we believe as Muslims. And I just gave you a short little Islamic and a little bit of Arabic there, but I just wanted to give you that to say that we, all of us, irrespective if you're Christian, Hebrew, or you are Muslim, we all should be guided by the goodness, and we have the prophets to teach us, and we should follow that. If we follow that, this world will be in a beautiful state. And it's going to come, brothers and sisters. It's on its way. That's why the Americans fighting people like me, because they know that the man is coming. The one before this, the real one will come. There'll be one who's going to bring so much goodness, Khair. Okay, he'll bring this Khayaret, Arabic, also meaning a lot of abundance of goodness will come when he takes power. See, and Christian, Jews, so forth and so on. Those, everybody, this prosperity will be great. The whole world will be under the Islamic banner, and it'll be so great, so much prosperity, and so forth and so on. It's coming. It's coming, brothers and sisters. It's coming. So with that said, I'll leave you with that. Salaam alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.